Welcome back, everyone, and here is class number 5. Today we're going to talk about our slim duct unit, or also known as a pancake unit. This particular system here is very versatile when it comes to applications. You're going to find these installed in crawl spaces, basements, drop ceilings, attics, closets, you name it, it can be applied there. So this system here, the great thing that we've done with it is we've introduced a new size this year, 6,000 BTU. Now this particular unit that you do see in front of you is one of our new multi-capacity systems. So this one in fact is actually a 6, a 9, or a 12,000 BTU. So you're just gonna go into those dip switch settings and go from 1 to a 6,000, 2 for 9, and 3 for 12,000 BTU. Now with this unit here, you're looking at it right now and you're thinking to yourself, well, Edwin, it looks like it's upside down. And you are correct. For demonstration purposes, I'm showing you the best way to service this unit here. How can you tell if this unit is right side up? Guys, it's real simple. Right over here, I have my gravity, and the gravity drains is usually your drain pan, and that's supposed to be the lowest point of the system. So if I turn this around, I feel my drain pan is right here. That tells me my system should be installed like so. My mounting brackets are at the top, my condensation pump is at the top, and my gravity lines are at the bottom. Another indication is also the Cooper&Hunter label. If it's right side up, you should be in the right position. Now, for serviceability with these systems here, they have to be serviced from underneath, because there's so many things that we can do with these systems here. Now on your smaller systems, between 9 through 18,000 BTU, they're medium static pressure units. From 24 to 60,000 BTU, we have high static pressure systems up to 0.84. You're gonna have metal fan blades because it is a high static pressure unit on our 60,000 BTU. On all the other ones, you're gonna get a plastic blower wheel on the assembly. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is talk about all the different features that makes this particular unit extremely unique. So as I'm talking about it, I'm gonna open up all of the system for you and show you everything on the inside of the unit. Now, just like our one-way cassette and our four-way cassette, this is meant to be installed in the center of a room, the lowest point of the house, or in an attic. So it does have the same condensation pump built into it. 21-inch vertical pump, and at that point you let your pitch take care of the rest. But if you're not gonna go ahead and utilize the condensation pump, you could go ahead and deactivate that from the main board and utilize your gravity. Now, common question, when this is installed, what is the minimum clearance that I need if this is going to be on a low point of the house and I need to get underneath it? To quote our lead engineer, Constantine, you're gonna need about that much space to get underneath this unit. So everything that you see here is an access point. When you see a lot of screws and different panels, that's where you're gonna need to access this particular unit here. Everything on the inside. So we're gonna go ahead and remove all of these screws one by one to show you all the different things that you can access with this. Now, with our slim duct units, one thing that really makes our systems really unique compared to the rest of the competition is our return. On most slim duct units, the return is always in the back of the unit. But if you're doing an install, let's say in a hotel, where you're walking in and you have your faucet right above your head, and you don't need to run any ductwork, or if you don't want to create any elbows on that ductwork, just by removing a couple screws here, I could remove my filter from the back. Now I'm gonna go ahead and remove my filter bracket. So I have 4 screws behind here. Now what this allows me to do is I could remove my filter rack from the top of the unit, remove my panel, right here on this panel, I have notches that you can go ahead and bend. And what you do is you reposition this panel from the top to the back of the unit, line it up. You're gonna bend these notches down, put your filter box right on top, and now look at that. I just changed my return from the back of the unit to underneath the system. Very versatile. You don't have to worry about running any extra duct work or anything like that. You could actually just create a faucet and have your grill right there and have your return and your supply immediately. So it's great for hotel applications. Now that I've removed these panels, I also have easy access to my blower wheel and my motor. And as I mentioned earlier, we make it real easy for serviceability. These are plastic housings, 2 clips. These come out of the way. There's my blower wheel. I have a couple screws. One, 2. This removes. Pop this out of the way. That simple to service this unit. I could disconnect this from the board, go ahead and take the blower wheels outside, rinse them off, let them dry, or with the long screwdriver, I could go right here into the opening notches like we have on all of our blower wheels. With my screwdriver, go inside, release the tension to remove the blower wheel completely. Now, we do have a fresh air knockout built into this system, just like we do with our 4-way cassette. So we could we could add ductwork to this unit, install a third-party inline fan if it's required per code. Now we could supply fresh air to this unit and it'll disperse it in the application that it's installed. Again, we don't make a third-party inline fan, but we do provide a connection point on our board, 230 volt connection, where the technician could wire directly up to this unit and go ahead and power that fan every time this unit calls for cooling. It'll activate the fan, and every time it shuts off, it'll deactivate the fan. So let's go ahead and remove these screws right here on the panel so I could show you everything on the main board. So it's just a couple more screws. Now we have easy access to everything there. And guys, just like all of our units, your common error codes are going to be listed on the panel. You have your dip switch settings, so you know how to change in between the different sizes of this unit here, and many different connection points. I have my temperature sensor as always reading my supply side. We have our dip switches for multi-capacity combinations. We have our connection for our inline fan that says no fan, and our thermostat connections at the top. Right here we have our connection for our infrared receiver, and we have our wiring terminal that comes from the outdoor unit. Now, one thing about the Slim Duct system that makes it really unique, we include a wall thermostat and or a wireless remote. Dealer's choice what the customer wants to go ahead and utilize. Common question we get is, well, if we install the wall thermostat, will the wireless remote still work? And the answer is yes. This is an infrared receiver, so as long as the remote has line of sight for the thermostat, you could still change the settings on the wall thermostat from your wireless remote. So if the big game is on, you could just grab your remote, point it at the thermostat, and hit your set temperature and activate the system. Now, a hidden feature that Cooper&Hunter has that we do not talk about or publicize, no one has access to, all of the wireless remotes for our systems are actually engineering remotes. And with these remotes, we can enter engineering mode on our systems and change certain parameters. And one of the most important things about that is going to be this infrared receiver right here for our Slim Duct unit. Why am I emphasizing the importance of this? Because if a technician is doing an installation, they decide, hey, I'm going to install a wall thermostat. I don't need the infrared receiver for a wireless remote. In most cases, that is correct. However, if they want to change the parameters of this unit and let's say have the blower wheel shut off when it reaches set temperature, they have to have this unit plugged in right here on this Molex cable connection so that way they could enter engineering mode with the wireless remote. We educate technicians to just follow the notch that's here, and you could go ahead and clip this right onto the bracket that comes pre-installed, so that way you could set it and forget it. Now, this unit's installed. If a technician has to come back and service it with the wireless remote, they could enter engineering mode. Now, if this is installed in a crawl space or an attic, this is not the easiest install to get to. So what we did provide, we have an extension that comes included with the kit, so they could extend the distance between the unit and that sensor. So now I could connect this to my sensor on one end, have this installed in another part of my crawl space or attic, and now I still have the ability to connect to that sensor with plenty of space. So this unit here, just like all the other Cooper&Hunter equipment, can be installed as a single zone one-to-one application. Again, remember, I have dip switch settings, so I could go between 6, 9, or 12,000 BTU. On a multi-zone, that is a great feature to have if they need to make any changes on the fly. If they've oversized the unit, they could adjust the size of it, or if they undersize, they could increase the BTU. But if it is a single zone, one-to-one install, they have to match that dip switch setting to the BTU capacity of the outdoor compressor. So if it's a 9,000 compressor, this has to be set to 9,000. If it's a 12,000, it has to be set to 12, so on and so forth. But I could mix and match this on a multi-zone. I could set this up on a single zone one-to-one system. I could set it up as a hyperheat unit, or I could put it as a standard negative 13 degree system. Now, one other feature about these units, when it comes to our 6, 9, 12, and 18,000 BTU, they are smaller systems. They have smaller chassis, and they have a flat drain pan on the inside. That is why for 6, 9, 12, and 18,000 BTU, they can only be installed horizontally in this position. But on our larger units, we do have larger drain pans in them. We have an L-shaped drain pan in our 24, 36, and 48,000 BTU units, which allow us to modify how they can be installed. So with those units, I've removed this panel here, so that way I could show you. Here's what my drain pan looks like on my 6, 9, 12, and 18,000. On my 24, my 36, and 48, I have an L-shaped drain pan. So what that allows me to do with those units, I could have it installed horizontally, or I could have it installed vertically. With that L-shaped drain pan, it'll catch all the condensation on the inside. So earlier we talked about making sure that this is in the correct position when it comes to installation. Common question we get, Ed, what happens if this is installed upside down? What's gonna occur? Remember, this does come with a condensation pump built right in, as you could see. And right up front, this is our emergency float switch. It's exactly what it's called, a float switch. If this is flat upside down, you notice how that switch just fell back? Now it's deactivating the system, and I'm getting an EE error code saying failed condensation, letting me know that this unit is dead on startup. It's not in fact dead, it's installed upside down. That's why this switch is activating. So that's letting me know that this is in the incorrect position. Because your float switch is activated, it needs to be deactivated if it's in the wrong position. So if I'm installing this in a vertical application, I need to make sure that I do deactivate this float switch, and I'm gonna go ahead and deactivate my pump. And that's everything inside on this unit here, guys. So again, I have from 6, 9, 12,000 BTU available in a multi-capacity system. I could install this on a single zone or multi-zone. I have the 18,000 BTU. I have 24, 36, 48, and 60,000 available in high static pressure. And again, 24, 36, and 48, I could install either horizontally or vertically. My smaller units, only horizontal application. My 60,000 BTU, only horizontal application. And remember, all of the accessories come included. You have your wall thermostat, which is our 120N model that has Wi-Fi built into it. You have your wireless remote, and you have your infrared receiver, which allows this wireless remote to enter engineering mode along with the extensions. And that's everything on the Slim Duct unit.